Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, hello. That's good. Good evening. So, last day we have created this high poly,
Yeah,
right? Last day we have created this high poly.
yeah.
So, your voice is cracking, so I'm not able to understand anything. You're saying something?
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you
Hello.
now. Still, there is a like little lag and
Okay.
slightly like voice is slightly broken. Though I can understand. Yeah, it's like little laggy, but yeah, but I can understand. So last class we created this high poly from like we use our low poly and created this thing. So you can see I went ahead and added couple of more detail. So I did that, and then what I did is like last time we were trying to decimate it and it was taking a lot longer. So I decimated it already so that we don't have to do the
Yeah,
process one more time.
yeah.
So I believe you are aware of a decimation process.
Yeah, it's in Z plugins, right?
Yes, yes, it's in Z plug, and you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
decimation master. This is just to
yeah.
decimate the model, and for baking purpose, what happens when you decimate it? It basically, like you can see, it's like whatever the poly count, it reduces the poly count, reduces the poly
Okay.
count, and make the mesh triangulated. So it becomes really
Yeah.
light, and but it retains most of the information so that you can bake it very easily,
Okay.
because like 2 3 million 4 million high poly, it's very difficult to bake, and we cannot import it to Substance or
Hmm.
Unreal or Maya, so it will become very difficult. That's why we decimate it.
Okay.
So what I did, I have exported two versions of decimation. One is this with decent amount of this one is this 1 million, this thing 1.3 million, this is for baking. And then I have reduced it even
Okay.
further, quite a much, like you can see now it's like quite a low poly, just to import this into Maya and check whether it matches with my
Okay.
low poly or not. Like there is a high poly, low poly should be like volume wise same, then there won't be any baking problem. It will bake
Okay.
perfectly without any problem. Right, so I just imported it into this, and you can see it's almost matched. Like there are few difference that is like okay, that much it will bake out without any giving us or any problem. This much difference is fine. Anything beyond like any shape change will be a problem, but shape wise I can see
Okay.
overall volume matters, so it's kind of fine.
Okay.
So I can delete my high poly from here, and now I
Okay.
have this mesh. And now I have to unwrap this model. So last time we haven't unwrapped it, we just used auto, right? So we have to
Yes.
unwrap this and properly, very nicely, because for gaming, especially for gaming, your low poly model and your unwrapping, these two are very important. Like you make sure your low poly is very good quality low poly, and there's no unwanted loops basically. And polygons, there is try to avoid any waste
Okay.
of space, because this is automatic, so you can see there are a lot of empty space and lots of seam. So while we UV it, we plan like we try to keep the mesh together as much as possible, or we
Yeah.
break it in multiple parts wherever we can hide the seam very easily. So
Hmm.
what I'll do is for this particular thing, let me switch on my tools. So right now it's automatic. You can see there's so many. This white outline is basically seam. there are so many unwanted and illogical seams, right? So first thing first, what I'll
Yeah.
do is I'll apply a cylindrical plan map on this
Okay.
projection, UV
Okay.
projection, because
Uh,
this entire shape is
I'm
yes.
okay. Okay. I will do first. I will give the camera based selection, and then I will unwrap it manually. Is that correct way?
Camera based selection as
Like,
in, like, I didn't understand.
hello.
Tell me.
Like, I will yeah, yeah, I will give that first. I will give camera based selection, and then I will start unwrap it in manual, like selecting edges and give cut a seam over there, and using that edge I will unwrap the model. Is that a correct way?
That's not wrong, but that's a manual process, and it will take a long, lot time to get it
Okay.
correct. So,
Okay.
like, you can see right now, this looks like this. If I just resize this so that you can see it properly, uh, okay, not, yeah, now it's better. You can see this, right? So, if I select this and apply this option, cylindrical
Okay.
projection,
Okay.
click this, you can see it now. It looks like this. Till
Yeah.
this end, everything is perfectly straight. Only this area is like this. So this gives you a correct UV this thing. It breaks entire thing very quickly, nicely, and you can see say one UV shell. It's
But
clear,
it,
right? You have.
yeah,
Hmm?
it's clear, but it will give some structures, right?
Yes. Now we have. This is like basic unwrap. Now I have
Okay.
to fix it. I have to fix
Okay.
it. So
Okay.
what
Okay.
happens?
Okay.
Most of the lines are straight because
Okay.
you have to make sure your UVs wherever you can straighten the UV, especially in gaming. Wherever you can straighten the UV, make sure straighten the UV because
Okay.
it's very good for baking. Like, why, if you have a straight line, it's
Okay.
very easy to bake and it gives you nice clean bake. If it's not straight, it might give you an error or some artifact or the pixelation and all those things. So we tried to either, instead of doing it manually, I'm using a cylinder. So now my entire thing is kind of nicely unwrapped, and I have only one seam throughout. This much is clear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now what I'll do is I'll keep the entire thing and UV mode. I'll go to UV this thing and select my this entire inside edge. Or this one. This one. This inside part so that I can break it from here. This is now you can see inside section which is hidden. Shift, right click, cut. Now this section is shell, entirely separate, and this cut AV is not correct. This is entirely wrong because this should be a straight and this should be a flat surface. So now what I'll do, I'll keep it like separate, like keep it like aside, and I'll start unwrapping this. So how will I unwrap this? Let's select this section, and if I want, I can isolate it. Now I can see it clearly, and now I can see it. There is slight model issue. You can see this clearly.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, I like whenever you have something like this, but it's not wrong. It's a quad, but because there is this overlapping, so it's that's why it's creating this issue. So I have to fix. Oh my god, this with this, so it won't work. It's not working here. So if I delete also, it won't work. So what I'll do, delete, 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 delete. Inside, delete, delete. I have deleted those sections, and now I'm planning to connect it. Or what's it? Undo, undo. let's keep those sections. Let's delete these triangles. That will be much easy for me to control. So I've deleted all the triangles. Everything is quad. Now, if I isolate this thing, still I cannot see anything. There is no problem as such problem, but there are open edges, open parts here. So that is something is not at all recommended. So what I'll do is I'll fix that area. So you can see I have created my high poly, I created my low poly, and now I'm going to fix anything like is here. I need to fix it. So what I'll do is, because these two shapes should connect here. So let's select it, shift, multi-cut. I can connect this and won't work there. So I need a cut here in the center. Enter, cut, center. Click and enter. Click and enter. Now I have one vertex. V, snap it. V, snap it. So it will fix my problem. It just snapped because intersection is not allowed. So gaming modeling, like you have to be very careful and make sure there is no intersection. Yes, it can snap together, but try to avoid intersection. So now it's now it's, you can see I cleaned it. Now I have to do like select this and merge vertices. 4 vertices are merged together. 40 was 47. Now it's 43. So now it's clean. So now I'll hide this thing. Now it's perfectly clean, and what I'll do is select this part, isolate this thing entirely. You can see it's perfectly clean, and 1 2 3 4 5. So here I can see now this is an n-gon. This is not a quad. This is not a quad. So I have to fix this by connecting this. So now this is also correct. There is no it can have because one part is triangle, one part is quad. So if I want to make this also quad, so I have to put a cut here. So that is like waste of polygons. So that's not required. So I'm keeping it triangle. Now I have this thing. So now I'll double click this.
You told me about the intersection part. Intersection can be allowed in gaming. Is that?
No, it's not allowed.
Okay.
Try to avoid intersections like in one solid object. Like you have two different model and then slight intersection, then it's okay. But if there's a one solid model and there is an intersection, then it's not allowed.
Okay.
Because this entire pillar is a one solid object, right? Suppose there is a pillar and there is a floor, and the pillar is slightly intersecting with the floor, then it's okay, no problem. Because those two are two different individual assets. It's like clear, right? It makes sense, right?
Now I clear.
So it's one individual asset, like one solid object. Try to avoid any kind of intersection. If there's two different assets intersecting, that's kind of okay because it can happen. So that is okay. Okay. Now what I did is I just selected this entire loop, and shift right click, cut it, so that I can weld them together. I just weld, select this edge, and shift merge, done, and overall. Now this entire strip I can see it's cut it from here. So either I can keep it here because this top part won't be visible 99% time, because we'll snap it with on the model and this will cover like touch my ceiling, right? So this top part is not visible. So if required, if I want, like suppose I'm really running low on poly budget, or I really need to reduce some polygon, what I'll do, I just delete this section. So this section is not required. So like, because this section is anyways, I'm going to snap on the ceiling. So this section is not required at all. So like this, I can reduce my poly count. And here you can see I have added a triangle here, but I can make it quad very easy. But I kept a triangle because there is a slight, so this is slightly slanted, right? So if I remove this, you can see from side it looks bent, broken.
Yeah.
That's why I kept that. What happened? I did something wrong or what? Oh, it's right there. Huh? So like you see, now my mesh is entirely clean. There is nothing extra or unwanted. Everything have deleted, and this particular area have like splitted this center part and this thing. Select everything, shift, unfold, unfold. Now I can see everything is clean. Now, if I want, I can weld this with this surface, this one, this section, and keep it as a one single solid geometry. And like to straight, because this, you can see manually I can rotate and make it kind of straightish, but it's not perfectly straight. The first thing first, what I'll do is I'll just weld this section. I can do it like this. I'm just checking this. So first thing, I'll apply a checker map to this, because without checker map, doing UV is not at all correct, and I won't be able to understand if it's wrong or right or what. And please try it, tiling. I'm recording, right? Oh, recording, yes, correct. And press 6 to see. So here I can see there are some stretch, All these things I'll fix. Select entire thing, unfold, unfold. If I unfold it, it kind of fixed, but still I can see slightly stretch and bend, right? So in this case, I can just simply undo this and keep them separate entirely. Yeah, like this, perfectly. Like you see, three parts, 1, 2, 3, and it makes complete sense and it will work perfectly. Now, for this, like I need to make sure orientation correct, and rotate and try to keep it as straight as possible, because I cannot straighten this thing. This is a curved shape, so this is cannot be straightened. But this shape I can straighten. So what I'll do, I'll select the center, and we have a line and this thing. Oh, sorry, my bad. Straighten this thing. Oh, my bad. Similarly, so most of things are straight, and corners always, like at least the edges, outside edges, try to keep it perfectly straight as much as possible. And
If I
center
do
also I
that,
can do. Yes.
if I do that, UV become little bit stretch. That's why if I
Sorry.
straighten this, if I
Uh,
straighten this UV edges, but this is
uh,
it will give some stretches.
no, it won't give any stretches. It's
Can I manually move that UV somewhere around, like scaling with vertices, UV vertices?
yes, so like that we can do. Like, but you can see this is perfectly square.
Okay.
So I just like straightened everything. It was slightly, but this one, if I try to straighten, it will stretch. This is also, you can see it's all
Okay.
perfect square. And if required, I can select this and unfold and check it. Like it's perfectly fine. And if I like manually do anything, like manually, if I try to modify, you see It will stretch.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
So manually will, yes, manually will definitely do if it's required,
Okay.
right? If it's required to do it, then only we'll do it. Otherwise, we'll try to keep everything perfectly square. That's the
Okay.
basic rule of thumb for checker square UV. Everything should be perfectly unwrapped without any stretching.
Okay.
No stretching at all.
Okay.
This is something again. Suppose you have a organic or maybe this kind of circular structure. In that case, like a spherical surface, slightly stretch is okay, because it's top part and base part will be like little squeezed, and this center part is slightly this is extra volume, so there will be slight stretch which is acceptable. So in this case we'll keep it like this. But now I will fix entire thing. So this part is kind of ready. And like for one more thing, one more important thing is just download one checker map, like with numbers or some pattern, because this black and white checker map, you cannot see the orientation of the UV. That's a problem, because we need to see the orientation of the UV. Orientation as means like it's facing down, facing up, or what, which direction. That is important. I found it UV, save as. I'm just downloading, saving it to desktop. Yeah, just it will get clear. Just a moment. Let me assign this file desktop and checker map. So I applied this checker map. Let me increase the tile. Maybe 10. 10 is too much. 5, 5, 5. So now here, if you see, this is facing correct, right? Orientation wise, everything is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
This is because this is a straight path, so this will be slightly different. This cannot be facing this direction, and this is also perfectly correct. Facing up, facing up. This is, you can see, it will face only one direction. Max to max, what I can do is for this, I can just slightly rotate this, transform like this, but it will match with only one side, not both the side. So it doesn't matter. So this is fine. So like this. Now the entire thing you can see quite stretched. So now what I'll do is, because it's a cylindrical shape and I have a square area to fill. So what I'll do is I'll split this texture, this UV, into multiple parts. Select this entire thing and I can see they are not square. I will reduce and make it square. You can see it fits into this entire region very easily, and there is slight stretch. That is something I'll fix by shift right click, unfold setting, go to legacy and horizontal. Click on horizontal, apply. So you can see now most of the checkers are almost fine, but there is a little squeeze. I can get rid of this thing very easily if I go to unfold 3D and apply it. It will become roundish, but you can see it's almost correct, but it's not 100% correct. So that's why I'll keep it straight. In that ways, what will happen? I'll have a straight edge where my seams match. So it will become very easy for me to match the seam. Now, for this section, I can keep it together, or I can split them. Just separate these section. Unfold setting, legacy, vertical, correct. You see, perfectly square, no problem at all. Select this one, shell, unfold, perfectly square. Similarly, I'll separate this thing section. Why I'm separating? Because I have to pack this UV nicely.
Yeah.
And UV shell, unfold, unfold. So you can see checkers are perfectly straight, but checkers are perfect. There's no problem at all.
Yeah.
Now similarly, this section, if I want, I can select the entire thing. I can do this. Fix everything. So now just to make sure everything works perfectly, and I need to all the size scale of the UV, the textile density is same. Like right now you can see this is really high, this is little close to this, and this is really big, and this is like little small. So I have to match the UV scale overall. So for that there are two ways to do it. Go to layout setting, and then go to legacy, and there is an option called pre-scale. Click on object mode, non-overlapping,
Okay.
rotate 90 degree or free, doesn't matter.
What's the difference between object mode and world mode in
World
prescale?
mode is like based on your world scale. Like suppose you have multiple assets in the world.
Okay.
Right now we are using one asset, one UV map. Suppose you
Okay.
have like four assets and one UV map. In that case, we'll
Okay.
use world, and if you
Okay.
have one object, we'll use object mode. So any of them, and apply. Now if you zoom in and see, it will fit everything within this thing very easily, but still there are a lot of wastage of UV space. And orientation wise, I'll try to keep it upward facing, and here I can see this one facing otherwise. So I have changed the direction, all the UV facing up. I have matched the UV textile density, but I can see this section that doesn't match. So I'll go and check this area. I'll select this, hide history, unfold and check. Legacy pin vertical. Correct. So you can see pin vertical, it doesn't work very nicely here. So I'll split this from here and select this one and weld it here. See, there is space wise. I'll select this and unfold. Oh, sorry, horizontal. Okay. So here I can do it. What I can do here? Sorry. How? Gee. Select this, scale it up, and remove this. So you can see almost straight in this, but you can see there's a like unfold, sorry, unfold setting vertical. It will fix that problem. If I want, I can keep the entire section together also. Like initially everything was together, so I could have just simply separated this and this and make it like it perfectly fit to this thing. Let's layout. Okay, layout did the same thing, but you can see now I have a better like this thing spacing. But now like basic checker wise, my I feel this section it should be slightly bigger, right, to match the detail. So I'll keep it here, and what I'll do is I'll straighten this area, this particular edge. I'll make it perfectly straight, and now layout, no scaling this time because I have manually modified it. no scaling, none. And so now you can see I have very little space wastage. So like this, I have to manipulate my things. Like wherever I have high detail, those area I need to add more detail. Like this section, I have this like a lotus petal thing. See? Design, 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 design. Those area I need to give more importance and more UV area. So for this, I'll manually increase it slightly, or I can just simply stitch it with this. Select this. Now I'll straighten everything. And in 10 minutes, it will I'll restart the meeting, it will end, rejoin it.
Okay.
And you can see I'm straightening everything. Like I'm using G to repeat my last command.
After straightening, we have to lay out this with legacy mode.
Yes. Like after once I straighten the entire thing, and then I'll make sure it this is like a nicely layouted. Layout. So yeah, so you can see almost this is like high detail. I have high detail, and this area now I can manage few things, and now I can see manually. I'll do something. After doing auto layout, I'll push it up or like slightly up, so I can push it slightly outside. Now I have this empty space. Now I have this section, and I want to increase the resolution. So for this, if I want rotation, place it here. So I have better UV utilization. Similarly, by this section also have design. So this is entirely together. So here also this particular band, maybe from this area, have, we can go to high poly, you see have design, have design. So I can separate that. So based on my UV like detailing, based on my like amount of detail, I'm modifying my UV. Similarly, this time this one, this area I need to modify, so I'll just cut this also, cut to UV and UV shell. Just increase the size. Now I select this layout, so I can see. So now I have better arrangement now. Let's see now, fill everything, or no, fill everything. Where is it? For this section is fine. Or I can just check multiple layout. 2-3 times I can try. Maybe it might give me something bit different. And you can see now it's everything is straight, so it becomes very easy to align everything nicely and place it there. So first I'll start with the all this round shape and my bigger area shape, biggest shape, and try to place all those things nicely. Connect. This thing looks like pretty nice. And connect this also. And decent amount of space between UV shells. Otherwise, there will be a problem of bleeding. So if I place it here, I can see I lose a lot of UV space. So what I'll do is select everything and scale it slightly. And reduce it slightly so that I have better spacing. And this one, rotate and rotate. Now I have this one. Let's see where I can put it. Place it here. Use this here. Now I have like see now most of the things it fits very nicely. Now I have this one band which doesn't fit nicely. So now I'll go and check what I can reduce and from where I can reduce something and make sure it like helps. So I'll select these two, but I have increased the scale slightly, I'll reduce them slightly. And UV is a manual thing. There is nothing like automatic UV is different. Just give me a second. So like it's we have automatic under mapping and all this thing, but it's not optimized at all. So we
Okay.
have to, no matter what we have. Okay, meeting going to end soon, so we started rejoin it. Huh?
Oh,
So we have to manually set it. There's no other way. Like we lots of people say like we have automatic. Why don't we use automatic? Yes, we can use automatic, but it won't give you like a right result. And so like waste of UV space. You can see now I'm rotating everything and trying to fit everything within this given area. It's kind of fits, and let's see if I am able to fit this here. No, I'm not able to fit this here. I can see like one part is still outside my UV space. You can see like most of the area